There was a time when entering someone's house meant walking through a narrow entranceway that separated the outside world from the inside, creating a threshold, a place of transition. Over time, this space has become larger, opening up to incorporate more and more of the outer world until today, when some houses have entirely open floor plans, offering little to no separation between the external and internal environments. Today, we're going to explore a related phenomenon, one that involves the erosion of boundaries and the merging of interior and exterior, subject and object, self and other. In doing so, we will examine the impact of this blurring of lines on our ability to think and exist. Welcome to this channel, a place where we explore ideas that matter. In his book, The Terror of the Same, Korean philosopher Byung-Chul Han argues that we are living in an era marked by the death of difference. We live in a world where everything seems familiar, where the networks show us only what we like and anything different feels uncomfortable. But what happens to a society that only sees itself? The internet promised connection to the world. But what we received was the infinite repetition of the same, opinions that mirror ours, faces that resemble ours, content that confirms what we already believe. Han calls this phenomenon the terror of the same, a world without the other, without friction, without difference, a world where thinking dies because there is nothing left to challenge us. So let's dive into the three parts of this phenomenon. First, the death of difference. Second, the infinite repetition of the self. And third, the society of exhaustion and self-truth. When you step into a gym and start working out, you probably focus on your own form and strength. But if you were to glance at the person next to you, you might notice their muscles are more developed than yours, or perhaps they're using a weight that you aspire to lift someday. In that moment, you make a comparison, and it can be easy to feel inadequate. But as the workout continues, your muscles begin to burn, and you push through the pain, focusing on your own progress. As the minutes pass, you find yourself wanting to do just one more rep, lift just a little bit more weight. And when you finally leave the gym, it's with a sense of accomplishment, knowing that you challenged yourself and grew stronger. What you experienced in the gym mirrors a fundamental aspect of human growth and learning, the importance of contrast. We learn from those who think differently. We evolve when we encounter the unexpected. Our understanding of ourselves is shaped by how we compare to others, by how we measure up. But this is becoming increasingly rare in our daily lives. Algorithms are designed to optimize our experience, to filter out the unfamiliar and highlight what's familiar. We live in invisible bubbles where everything reflects back to us, the other disappears. This absence of friction creates a false harmony, but beneath it lies stagnation. Without difference, there is no discovery. Without the other, there is no transformation. As the philosopher Emmanuel Levinas pointed out, the other occupies a unique place in our existence. He writes, "The face of the other, the manifestation of an alter ego, is that which reveals being in its alterity, calls for recognition, exposes me to my own impossibility." In other words, the other disrupts our sense of self, revealing both our similarities and differences. This disruption, while sometimes uncomfortable, is essential for our growth. When we encounter the other, we confront our own biases and assumptions, allowing us to refine and deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Han writes, "By contrast, the terrorist logic of the same leads to a refusal of the alterity of the other. It means refusing the alterity of the other in order to maintain the identity of the self. The alterity of the other must be absolutely excluded in order to preserve the sameness of the self." Let's return to the gym. Imagine you decided to stop glancing at the person next to you. You put on headphones to block out the noise. You bring your own weights, and you stick to your own routine. On the surface, you seem more focused, but are you really? By eliminating all points of comparison, you also eliminate any chance of growth. You are no longer motivated to improve because there is no one else to impress. You are no longer challenged because there is no one else to compete with. You are stuck. This brings us to the second part, the infinite repetition of the self. When you log on to social media, what do you see? Posts that confirm your beliefs, comments that echo your opinions. The digital world has become a mirror, reflecting back our own image, trapping us in a feedback loop of sameness. Think about the music you listen to. If you like pop music, you probably have your favorite artists and songs. But have you ever listened to a song that's completely unlike anything you've heard before? Maybe it's a genre you've never explored, or a song in a language you don't understand. When we first hear such a song, it might not make sense. It might not appeal to us. But over time, if we keep playing it, something interesting can happen. We might start to appreciate the different melody, the unfamiliar rhythm. It can challenge our musical understanding, expand our tastes, and introduce a new depth to our listening experience. The same is true for news, books, and conversations. Engaging with ideas that are foreign to us can enrich our perspectives, challenge our beliefs, and lead to personal growth. But instead of embracing this diversity of thought, we are surrounded by the same faces, the same opinions, the same content. Social media doesn't sell diversity, it sells predictability. You hear the same songs, see the same opinions, consume the same content. Byung-Chul Han warns that this repetition of sameness becomes a threat to our ability to think. Difference becomes a threat, criticism becomes hate, disagreement becomes cancellation. We are becoming unable to deal with what is not like us. And this inability comes with an existential cost. Imagine growing up in a world where everyone agrees with you all the time. Your parents praise everything you do. Your friends always choose the activities you want to do. Your teachers tell you that your ideas are the best. In this world, you might never learn to think critically, to solve problems independently, or to adapt to situations where you're not the center of attention. You become accustomed to constant praise and validation, making it difficult to handle even the slightest critique or setback. This inability to cope with negativity can cripple your ability to learn, grow, and connect with others. This brings us to the final part of our discussion, the society of exhaustion and self-truth. When we only see ourselves, we enter a cycle of exhaustion. The repetition of the familiar does not soothe us. It wears us down. We become anxious, bored, unable to desire anything new. Byung-Chul Han describes this as the logic of the same. In this logic, the emphasis on sameness leads to a decline in critical thinking, creativity, and the ability to confront challenges. Instead, it promotes complacency, a lack of motivation, and a resistance to change. The repetition of the same is often justified as a means to achieve happiness. By surrounding ourselves with things we like and people who agree with us, we avoid discomfort and conflict. But this pursuit of happiness in the absence of struggle leads us to a shallow and ultimately unsatisfying existence. We live in the age of the absolute self, but this self is empty. It is not challenged. It is not interrupted by other voices. It is an echo, and an echo does not teach. It only reinforces. Think about a conversation you've had where you felt misunderstood. Perhaps you had an idea that you were excited to share, but no one understood what you meant. Or maybe you tried to explain a feeling, but the words just didn't come out right. In these moments, you probably felt frustrated, even a little discouraged. But if you had persisted, if you had continued to try to communicate your thoughts and feelings, you might have found a deeper understanding, not only with the other person, but also with yourself. You might have discovered a new way of expressing yourself or a new perspective you hadn't considered before. These moments of frustration, while uncomfortable, can be crucial for our growth. pushing us to refine our thoughts and communicate more effectively. However, in a world that values only agreement and reinforces our biases, these opportunities for growth are lost. In such a world, any difference is seen as a mistake, a deviation from the norm that needs to be eliminated. This is what Byung-Chul Han refers to as the logic of self-truth. This phrase might sound appealing. It suggests a world where everyone is free to live according to their own beliefs and values. However, this freedom can be deceptive. When we are only surrounded by people who agree with us, we are not truly free. We are trapped in a self-created bubble where we are constantly reinforced in our existing beliefs. We stop questioning our own thoughts and actions. Listening disappears. Dialogue dies. The other is erased. We live in a time where everyone proclaims their truth. But what does it mean when everyone's truth is the same? It means there is no truth, only opinions. When everyone's truth is the same, the truth has become a mere reflection of ourselves, a self-image that is constantly being fed back to us. We have entered the era of post-truth, where facts and opinions are blurred, and where alternative viewpoints are silenced. In this episode, we've explored the unsettling reality of our times, the terror of the same, where the boundaries between self and other, between subject and object, are disappearing. This blurring of lines is leading to a loss of identity, a decline in critical thinking, and a resistance to change. By understanding this phenomenon and recognizing its potential consequences, we can begin to challenge it. What are your thoughts? How do you experience the terror of the same in your life? How can we counteract this trend towards sameness? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with others. Your support helps us continue producing thought-provoking content. Thanks for joining us. See you in the next episode.